Hello and welcome back to Icestorm TV, and this channel is for businesswomen who want to be a bit braver, step up their game, go out there, be more visible, be seen and heard. So what I'm doing is that I'm bringing in inspirational people who can share their knowledge, experience and expertise to just give us a little boost on a Sunday morning and really make us feel that it's doable, what we want to do. We just need to take that little bit of an extra step up. So today I brought in someone I've known for a few years who's really valuable for me actually, and it's Emma Croman.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming in, Emma. So Emma, you're a photographer.
I am.
Yeah.
A portrait photographer. Yeah.
Portrait and food?
Food, yeah. So I mainly specialise in food photography and portrait photography. It's usually within a creative or nutrition and health world. Yeah.
And you've done my portraits.
I have, which was a joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why you are so valuable for me, because obviously, first of all, I can't take them myself. I
Yeah.
find that very hard.
Yes,
and you're
would be
also
very difficult.
amazing. She's such a good portrait photographer.
Thank
you managed to do this actually, which I find fascinating, without that much equipment.
Right. Yes, I stay very low on the equipment for a couple of reasons, really. I think the main thing being there's less decisions for me to be making about what lens to use, what equipment to use, and it means that I have to work with what I've got. And then also, I think the less equipment that I've got with me, the less formal people feel it is. So
Absolutely. And for me, also being a photographer and sometimes using loads and loads of equipment, I know a lot of people feel like, oh, you're probably not very good because you don't have this big studio and 10 lights and all that. But for me, I really admire someone who can get the quality you get, because it's almost going back to the art of photography, because you really see the light and you find the right place and you just bring it's amazing.
Thank you.
And your technical skills to do that are fantastic as well.
Thanks.
But we're actually not going to talk about, well, we are, but we're going to talk about a project that you are
That's right. Yeah.
about to launch.
Yeah. It's called Valid. Yeah.
Valid.
Valid.
Yeah.
It's all about feelings of validity and invalidity around our bodies and our physical form. So that could be anything to do with like weight, age, shape, size, disabilities, gender, race, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exploring people's stories, helping them to sort of liberate themselves by talking about it, inspired by Brene Brown actually, with her feelings of, the vulnerability thing and sharing, and I think a lot of the time when we say things out loud, it helps us to make peace with it. And
absolutely.
The ethos of Valid is it's not admitting there's something wrong with you, it's admitting you have feelings about yourself and sitting with them and working with them. Because it's not, there isn't anything wrong with
No,
us.
because you were referring to Brene Brown, and she's a lot about working with shame and guilt.
Exactly, yes.
But out of that sprang being valid, really, rather than feeling shame.
Absolutely, and from my own personal point of view, I've lived with my own shame about my body for all of my life, and I got to a point that I felt like it was holding me back from so many things, and enough was enough, and I was spending my life dieting and exercising, and I just wasn't getting anywhere, and when I let go of that, it was just such a beautiful thing to be able to enjoy exercise for a mental exercise rather than, and if I can help other people understand more about other people's things that they've got going on, and help them live with it, and not have to worry about it so much, then, that's...
What's the shift that happened for you then? Because I assume it was based on what other people think of you.
Yeah.
And then you managed to release that and think about what was important for you.
It's still work in progress. I don't think, especially with body image, like, when you've lived with that your whole life, it's very difficult. I mean, you don't sort of wake up in the morning and be like, I'm just going to let go of that today. But I think the point was I needed to start to make a change, and I realised that it was holding me back from so many things. And when I was watching TED Talks and things like that, I realized I wasn't watching these people for the way they looked. I wasn't even looking at the way they looked. It wasn't something that even was occurring to me. It was just, wow, they've got something to say, and aren't they amazing? And it really came from that of just realizing that I've got something to deliver, and I can't just not do that just because I'm worried what people might think of me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the core of my teaching, especially for women. And that's why I started Icestorm, because I know that we have so many points of feeling invalid and feeling that we are blocked from going out there because of our looks.
Yes.
And I know not your project is not just about your looks, it's about all these things.
Yes.
But I think do women have more blocks like this, do you think, than men?
Yes, I have spoken to some men for Valid, and I do feel like women talk about it more, definitely. And we definitely, I remember when I was a teenager, and, the conversation that would be going on in the girls' room, would be, oh, look at my stomach today, it looks so fat, or, oh, I feel like, my skin looks bad today, and I don't see that going on in groups of men, and I think I certainly feel like it is still there for men, but I think as women we do carry more, for sure. And because of how the media has portrayed us, the first thing that people do when they get in front of the camera, and I'm saying women because this is just what I found, when women get in front of the camera they apologise for themselves, and it's heartbreaking to me because the people that I'm photographing are incredible, strong women that are running businesses and, juggling kids and bringing all these amazing things to the world. And I think if they could see themselves for that, that would be amazing. Yeah.
It always starts with an apology
really,
or an excuse, and it's, I haven't slept well, or I was rushed this morning,
yes, or I'm sorry, I've got bags under my eyes,
at the moment, but we got to do this now.
Yeah,
and it's really saddening.
It is,
and I love that we are developing a new culture of being valid as you are, that it is what comes from the inside that matters. And for me, I mean, this completely goes back all the way to the beginning of time, when women have been dependent on men to survive.
Yes.
From the beginning of the times when we in the tribe had to fight for the man to survive, to be there, to have our children, to be validated by the tribe, right? And then into, more modern times, but still a few hundred years ago, when we were completely dependent on men for survival, because women weren't allowed to get a normal job. And then when we were getting a job, there was a male boss, right? So who we had to look up to and seduce to keep the job. And this is absolutely horrendous. And God forbid, we were had sex or were raped or whatever and had a child, we were absolutely discarded from everything and had to go and live sometimes in a different country.
Yes.
So it has been a situation for so many years for women that we have to nurture this whole look and sex appeal to survive, literally. But now we're in a time, finally, in the Western world, at least, here where you and I live, women do not have to seduce a man to survive. And it really saddens me when I see these teenagers with the boobs and the TNA and the lashes and everything, and they go like,
"What's TNA?"
Oh, tit and ass.
Right, I've never heard of that. That's awesome.
I think it's a film term, right? TNA, tits and ass. Got to show that to be valid, right? And I just feel like, I was like, you know what? You don't actually have to look like that. You can now go to university. You can get a job with a female boss who actually don't want you to look like that because they're going to feel threatened, or they're just not going to to value you for that.
Yes.
So I think we need to teach younger girls that, you know what, that whole thing is over?
I think, yeah, it's. I mean, we've still got a way to go because the media,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, the media is still retouching, and people are still growing up with these images, thinking, you know, this is what I should be looking like, and it's not real. You know, we know as photographers it's not real because it's under lights. We've got contouring makeup on. You know, it's a fabrication, and I think that's the key, is the education, and it's also opening the conversation to know that we all feel like that, because I think you don't speak to any woman who says I'm totally happy with myself.
No, never.
Never, you know.
Ever.
But yet we always look at other women thinking, wow, she looks great, you know, she looks confident, and but you know, it's we've all got these insecurities, and I think until we start having the right conversations about it, you know, we're not gonna move past it.
So tell us more about your project. What do you do? What shape and form is it going to have?
So Valid is coming as an ongoing project for a year. It's going to be launching in autumn, and it's going to be web based. So it'll be a post a day. A post a week.
A post a week.
A week
yes.
for a year.
Don't take on too much.
I was going to say a post a day might be a bit much.
Who knows though?
So yeah, it's a post a week, and it's the conversations I've had of people, you know, with their shape, their size, you know, maybe they're insecure about their nose or their boobs. I've spoken to men, I've spoken to people with disabilities, and conditions like ME, and you know, people that are just generally in life feeling either judged or like something's holding them back. So, and yeah, it's been really inspiring having conversations with people, and it's been so humbling for people to come and be in front of the camera, and also opening their hearts and their souls to me, you know.
Bless you. That's such a beautiful project. I love it, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
So the weekly post is going to be it's on a blog post?
It's going to be on a blog post, and then I think if you can subscribe to the newsletter, it will come through to your inbox
so
as well.
is it going to be one portrait or a series, or we don't know yet?
It's so depending on what the you know, the vibe of what we're talking about. Like sometimes I've been to the people's home and photographed them in their home, but mostly it's just been very simple, natural light against a backdrop, on a stool, a roll of film. So everything was shot on film, which is really good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow.
medium format film.
Wow.
So it really slowed me down and made me think about the story that I was trying to get across in the pictures. So
how many shots do you have? Just tell the viewers who are not familiar with film, how many shots do you have in a roll of film?
16 per roll.
16 per roll.
And I've been trying to limit myself to 2 rolls max, which, you know, with the processing everything else, you know, is quite a costly thing.
Of
so
course
you've got
it is,
to,
because you have to develop the film and then get it printed as
exactly.
well, and scanned to a digital format.
Yeah.
Because we were talking before how many shots you took of me for a session, which is around, for 2 hours, around 400 photos or something like that.
Yeah, you just
snap away with a digital camera. You can't do that. You can't do that. So you have to be really careful. You know your job.
Yes,
so
you have to really, you know. Yeah, it's. I think it's also having the confidence to get people to be still in quite a vulnerable position. So, you know, it's been really lovely that people have I mean, and some people have, you know, I've given the people the option to, for those talking about body image, I've given them the option to you know, strip down to their underwear if they wanted to. And some people have done it because they found it very liberating. I did it before I started the project. My friend Mary Meadows very kindly stood behind the camera and took some photos of me. And, you know, that is something I've never done in front of anybody. You know, so to do it in front of the camera was actually,
you know, the feeling.
No, and you know, I want to make it clear that it wasn't like a boudoir, I'm being really sexy in front of the camera. It was just a liberation of, I've taken my clothes off, and now what? You know, what's the worst that can happen? And actually, and I find this with the other people that have stood in their underwear in front of the camera, as well, I found that as soon as they've done that, the liberation is incredible. And they start dancing around because they're like, it can't get any worse than this. I've just taken my clothes off in front of a camera and here I am. So I might as well just make the most of it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I know you're going to be on the walls somewhere as well. It's not just going to be on
Hopefully,
online.
yeah.
You'll have it in a gallery or some
It would be a
place.
shame
It
not
will be.
to,
Oh, no,
definitely.
you will, definitely.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So thank you so much, Emma. I
Yeah.
think this is fabulous for a lot of people who feel there's I call it a vlog block.
Yeah.
So that's when we work with it in front of the camera. Just really going back to your, and it's not always even your expertise, but as you mentioned, TED Talks, and I deal with women in business who want to share their expertise. This is what it's about. It's what your core is all about, and your knowledge, and connecting that with your passion and going out there. And of course, we can't forget about how we look.
Yeah.
And it's up to each and every one what they want to do to feel their best before
Yes.
they go in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
it's fine to dress up or have makeup or do your hair.
Absolutely. It's whatever
takes.
feels good for you. If it's coming from a place that empowers you rather than masking you, then yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think, also just quickly, I'm sure everybody's heard of Elizabeth Gilbert, but how you were saying about, your core, I think that is quite key, really, because I think she talks a lot about, especially in her Magic Lessons podcast, it's only you that can tell this story. And I think when you've got your own personal experiences of something, it suddenly becomes a realization that you have to do this project, you have to do this thing. And I think when I've felt blocks with this project, when I've felt, am I telling this the right way? Am I photographing it the right way? She's given me the confidence to be like, this is your thing to bring to the world, and have confidence with it. So, yeah.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it, and we will let the viewers know when it's available, obviously.
And if anybody wants to take part,
be careful
get in
now
contact.
with what you wish for. Do get in contact. And how do they find you?
I'm at www.emmacroman.com, and they can use the contact form to get in contact with me there.
emmacroman.com.
Thank you.
Right, so we'll look out for it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my
for coming
pleasure.
Today.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's brilliant. I think it's incredibly comforting for a lot of people to hear about being valid.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah. And of course, if you're watching this and you enjoyed the show, please do subscribe to the channel and click that little bell button as well, which means that you'll get a ping every time there's a new video coming out, every Sunday, 9 o'clock here at Icestorm TV. And don't forget about the free Facebook community group. If you are a businesswoman who wants to take a step up, do join, and it's just facebook.com/Icestorm training. And I really look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you for watching, and bye for now. Thank you, Emma.
Bye.